Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Was an Immortal Hafususki. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, I indeed have 4 channels if you're new. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, Anime Prince, which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button and comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can reply and welcome you all. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post. I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto from Tobirama Secret Base, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy guys. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So the last time we left off, a few sensory ninjas picked up the immense amount of chakra coming their way. They turned towards the leader of the ship at the moment. The leadership was given to him by their Mizukage, Genjutsu, and he did not intend to fail his lord. However, something was wrong. The censors, they were shaking in absolute fear. The censors begged him to leave, telling them that he had to run. Whoever this person was, they were not normal in the slightest. They had to get out of here. They had to go now. However, the man on the boat refused to take that order, as he wanted to bring down anyone that might try to go against Kira forces. So he turned his wrath upon him until said individual raised something in his hand. It was his staff, and he brought it down. Upon bringing said staff down, what followed was nothing but chaos, calamity, destruction, carnage upon itself, as the ships were slammed down with equal force. The amount of power that came down with it split the ocean, and the ships fell inside. The water then proceeded to crush them. Thousands of ninjas fell in the span of a few seconds. The entire seaboard shook with a violent explosion. Everyone was baffled and shocked by the amount of power they felt. This was not normal in the slightest. This was far from normal, as they felt the power. It wasn't long before everything settled down as Naruto stood there. Said man jumped off as he made his way towards Naruto. Naruto told him to take his man and leave immediately. None of them stand a chance here. However, they refuse, so they attack. In the span of a few seconds, Naruto snapped the neck of the leader. The others got angry by that, so they attacked him. On the other side, Genjutsu was facing off against Kagami Uzumaki. Kagami had used seals to empower his body, pushing past his physical limit. Genjutsu was finding it hard to keep up as he was being dominated in the fight. The more the battle go on, he was running low on chakra, and Kagami was pushing himself to the absolute limit, surpassing everything that he was showing so far, as he only seemed to be getting stronger and stronger. However, as the battle reaches apex, someone arrived. Genjutsu realized, as the man told him that he was the one that had set ablaze to his ships and his people. That pissed Genjutsu off, so he attacked Naruto. But that was his worst mistake ever, as Naruto simply dodged his attack and then planted his sight right in Genjutsu's face. The amount of force that he hit him with blasted Genjutsu right through several broken walls as he slammed into the metal railing. He told Kagami to handle him, as he would go and handle the rest. Kagami asked him who he was, as Naruto told him that for today he was their savior and protector. As Kagami felt the absolute power reigning from this man, and the way he spoke, the authority, not to mention he called Kagami young one. Kagami was shocked given his age. This man was no normal man. It seems that Kami has blessed them with someone to help them in their dire needs. As Naruto made his way towards the other battle scene, a young Uzumaki girl was gonna be overrun by the forces until someone appeared in front of her and held his hand out. Their bodies were sent skyrocketing all over the place. She looked up to see her savior as Naruto turned his wrath upon the people he told the Uzumakis to flee. The three Kage 11 ninjas surrounded Naruto, asking him who the hell he was, as Naruto did not reveal that much about himself. However, seeing the white tear that went through his coat, the Raikage surmised that he was that man, the one that had brought down calamities on his ninjas when they had tried to go after the tail beasts. Naruto urged them to leave this place, and they will leave with their life intact. However, they refused, as he told the Raikage that he will be ending him, including the Tishikage, as he hoped they had a successor. Well, the Raikage, that is, seeing that Tishikage's successor was already here. With that, the battle commenced as they soon realized that Naruto was far stronger than they could even imagine. They were all blown away as they all decided to push their limits to 100%, ready to take Naruto on, telling their forces to stay back. Naruto watched them all as they came towards him. He reached and ripped off the hood, revealing himself to the world. As Kushina was still on top of the bubble, so high in the sky, she was upset that she was just forced to remain here while all of that went on, but she could feel the power, and she could tell that Naruto was gonna win despite the odds against him. So yeah guys, basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself. So we'll see we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now guys. Kagami stormed into the sensory room as he saw the chief of commander in here, off the sensory barrier, as he turned his gaze upon the man. Kagami-sama, the man said, seeing Kagami injuries. I am fine, Kagami said, shrugging it off. This is no time to worry about my injuries. The man nodded to his leader words. If there was one thing the Uzumakis were known for, that was their regeneration ability. Sir, he said, what is going on outside? From what I've seen on the report, he said as he looked forward towards the gigantic spear in front of him. Each Uzumaki chakra was registered in the spear in front of him. That said, they could pinpoint the Uzumakis over the island, and they could pinpoint the enemies when they sensed the foreign chakra and the spear would pick it up. You could see them by tiny representation of dots, and there was a moment ago a large number of dots. They had completely overtaken the island to the west and to the east, forcing the Uzumakis to step to the main island, otherwise they would be overrun. However, as the group had made their way upon the main island, the room was tense as they saw how much of them they were, fearing that they could not overcome this as they prayed for a savior. As all the members in the room looked towards their fearless leader, hoping for an explanation, because all of the dots had came to a stop and been repelled from the island. As of this moment, as they spread the spear out wide, trying to connect it to the two other islands they could feel, and also get a small glimpse in terms of chakra signatures, the power that was raging. They could feel the overwhelming power of the three Kage 11 ninjas that were here to bring calamity and destruction. They could also feel the shinobis that were on the sideline, refusing to move any closer. But what truly startled them though was a pit. It seems like an unending pit of chakra. The sensory ninjas did not believe this was an actual human. They believed it was some kind of mythical being, a tail beast, some sort of creature created from pure chakra. That was the only explanation that they had. As Kagami looked towards his people, who was waiting for an answer, it seems like Kami has indeed sent us a light in these darkened moments. They all looked towards him, confused by that statement. Who was this light? Was it the actual human, they wondered to themselves? All you need to know at the moment is someone is out there, fighting on our behalf, helping us in these dark times. But who, sir? At the moment I am not fully sure, but I believe we will find that out once this is all over. But it is still not yet over. We cannot rest assured until we have purged all the invaders from our land, as all the men inside nodded. With that said, back on the outside, the ninjas that were from the opposite nations to Uzu, they were all standing there, all witnessing something they never thought they would witness in their lifetime. Three Kage 11 ninjas about to face down against one man, who they believed was strong enough to face them all. The man had thrown off his hood. However, instead of flowing in the air or dropping on the ground, it had simply vanished, like it was never even there to begin with. They were all able to see him, He was a rather tall man, standing at 6 feet 2 inches. His white hair cast straightened down his back, as it seemed to flow gently with the wind. It almost seemed to have a own rhythm to itself. His pupilless eyes scanned around. One might think that he was blind, but he was far from it. In fact, he could see better than almost everyone. His clothing consists of grey pants that were loose and well fitted, sandals that were flat on his feet. They seemed to hug the side of his feet as well, curving up, a strange different style that most of them were not used to. His shirt consists of a yukata. Said yukata was open at the chest, allowing you to witness his chest. It stopped right before it entered anywhere near his stomach. However, you could see that he was a man that was built with muscle but not so over muscular. His arms hang loosely at his side, his feet pressed firmly into the ground, his white eyes scanning the entire area. Said 3 Kage 11 ninjas were all at their peak power, Oniki, fists covered in rock. The right Kage was blazing with electricity, his hair spiking upwards. Mew had both of his blades out, his body set in a position of speed. It was almost like a signal was sent. The right Kage was upon Naruto in a fraction of a second, pushing his body speed to its limits. The fist came barreling through the sky. It seems like it was destroying the air between both him and Naruto. As the fist struck towards Naruto's face, to the right Kage's shock and horror though, he twists. The right Kage was left open as the speed that he twists with allowed him to reach into his guard. Luckily, Mew came in and slashed at Naruto's throat. However, Naruto tilted his head, allowing the blade to pass by him. As he saw the glistening metal, knowing that it was special, he stomped his feet in the ground and twisted his leg, causing a wall of earth to rise up, stopping Oniki in his tracks from pounding on his skull with those rock arms. With that said, he was right in the center of it all. It all happened in a flash. Naruto brought his elbow up, blocking the hand of Mew, not allowing him to raise his blade. Upon doing that, Naruto's hand came around like a trigger that was just pressed upon with immense force. The back of his hand made contact with Mew's face. At first, the bandage on Mew's face started to ripple, showing the amount of force that was coming down. As Mew tried to raise his arm, but Naruto's elbow stopped him from doing so. So when the force collided, Mew was blasted through the rock wall that Naruto had formed. The amount of force that he was hit with sent him sailing. Mew skipped off the water like it was solid stone. The right Kage, seeing his opportunity, brought both of his hands down to crush Naruto's skull in the process. However, as the hulking man brought his fist down, Naruto turned and brought his hand upwards. The two colliding force clashed as Naruto's elbow clashed with both of his hands. The ground underneath Naruto shattered with tremendous force, showing the amount of power the right Kage dropped. But not once in the slightest did Naruto's knees buckle or bent. There was no expression that showed discomfort on his face. Oniki, who was now above the wall, as his fist was about to impact in Naruto's face, it only took less than a second, as the rock arms on Oniki's natural arms exploded. Oniki blinked in shock. All he saw was a movement, and the rock arms that were saturated and covered, pulled together by chakra, exploded into a tiny piece of rock. His defenses left wide open. The right Kage, who was still applying pressure, was astonished that he was doing this with one arm, while his other arm thrust towards Oniki's stomach. Oniki tried to block as he built up a large amount of rock elemental energy. However, he did not touch him. What Naruto released was a force, an energy force that seemed to ripple from his hand. The force blasted Oniki through several broken trees on the island that was west of them, as Oniki crashed into a large settlement that was once an outpost for the Uzumakis. The right Kage brought his knee up, intending to spear it right through Naruto's stomach, at least causing some kidney problem or something more destructive. However, Naruto's other hand came and slapped his leg. The Raikage felt something strange as he felt all sensation in his leg vanish. It was like his leg went limp. However, he had another. As he turned on it, he jumped to gain more momentum as he slammed it in Naruto's chest. Naruto's hand shotting up fast enough to create a X to block the blow as Naruto was sent sailing. The Raikage triggered electric chakra through his leg to snap it back into focus. As he didn't know what the hell that was, but he wouldn't allow it to happen again, he appeared above Naruto while Naruto was sent sailing. Seeing his opening, he drive his hand down. This time, his fingers were outstretched. 4 to be exact. Naruto twists as the Raikage hand plummeted through the earth. As the attack seemed to tear right through the ground, cracking it. Naruto slammed both hands on the ground as he brought his heel around. The Raikage brought his left hand up as he blocked the attack. Smirking, he reached up to grab Naruto's leg, but Naruto was not done as he twisted his body. Using his hands as supports, the Raikage braced himself, not being able to stop the attack, but at least he could brace himself. Well, he thought that he did. The force blasts right into his guard as Naruto's leg, despite seeming to make a small impact, caused a crushing blow. The Raikage was sent sailing just like the others, him in much worse shape, as he blasts right into the island, bumping and slamming through trees, before slamming down in a massive crater. Naruto stood there in the open. The ninjas that were there, all of them were shaking with fear. Having seen one man just decimate 3 Kage 11 ninja with such ease, just who was this monster? There was no way that he was human. What was he? That is when Naruto felt a rumble and a pulse of chakra. The earth around him then shifted. 2 gigantic wall of earth shot out of the ground, trapping Naruto right in the center. Looking forward, he saw Oniki, his hands on the ground. Glancing backward, he saw Mew, also his hands on the ground. What they formed was gigantic. The thing was large, all-encompassing, and Naruto was stuck right in the center. That is when he saw Mew, flashing through hand sign, Oniki doing the same thing. Before they slammed their hand down, on the left and the right side of the jutsu that he was trapped in, gigantic spear of rocks start to rush towards him. Hundreds, maybe thousands. As Naruto looked upward before he flew, blasting out of the ground. As he was heading toward the top, a beam of lightning almost struck him right in the face as he twists, only for the Raikage to appear on the left side, driving his heel right into Naruto's guard, which once again he had brought his arm up to block. But the force sent Naruto right into the bottom of the gigantic chasm that they formed. Now, Ace shouted out, Earth style, both Oniki and Mew said, crushing hands of Kami. With that, the 2 gigantic wall of rocks slammed together with an unprecedented force, just like someone clapping their hands. Everyone watched in shock and awe to witness such power. But neither man were done yet though, as the both of them floated up, particle style they said, dismantling spear. The techniques flew from their hand like a beam set down towards its targets. Once it made contact, it was uplifting. The whole thing was blasted to smithereens if he wasn't crushed by that or turned into Swiss cheese by what they just did. They didn't know. They didn't know anymore if he was not destroyed by what they just did. The Raikage, who had jumped a safe distance away, looked towards the chaos, as it seems like the place was still trembling. The earth was still breaking apart. Both Oniki and Mew remained in mid-air, both of them taking a breath after releasing such a daunting technique. The amount of chakra that they used to make sure to hold him inside. There was no way that he could just walk that off. That is when they saw blue light coming out of all the cracks of the gigantic piece of earth. The cracks releasing more and more blue light until they all move away as a violent surge of power exploded outwards. The whole entire place was awash. Bodies of the ninjas who were far distance away were still sent sailing. What followed was a natural disaster within itself. Power simply oozing out, blowing everything away. Once the smoke and dust clear, there he stood. However, he was not looking at anyone, he was looking at his clothing. The shirt that he was wearing, the left sleeve was torn, and there was also a slice on the upper half where his chest was, his right side. There was also a bruise right on his chest where the cut was, to show that he did got harmed, but the amount of damage that he took was absolutely nothing. However, he seemed to be looking at it with a bit of surprise as Naruto looked down toward his hands. As he started to talk to himself, "It seems you were right this time, brother," he said. "Again, I unconsciously hold myself back, getting damaged by attack like these. Something that wouldn't have actually come near to even grazing me in the past." As he frowned to himself, "But I must say, the things that humanity has come up with the use of ninju, is amazing. If only they use it for other reasons, but these techniques are just used for killing and destruction. That is why I cannot see people like this the same way that you did. War, chaos over the centuries. I thought, without my intervention, that they might sort things out, realizing that they do not have a deterrent of power. They're just normal people. They live, they die. They possess power, they train, they get stronger. And yet, it doesn't matter what happened. They keep on fighting. For what? Land? Money? Does that justify the thousands, millions that get slaughtered over time? But they don't seem to care, because these leaders justify it with these words: greed, pride, selfishness." As Naruto shook his head, looking towards the men that were looking down towards him, they seemed shocked. They have no idea that their techniques in his eyes are nothing. What they are showing at the moment is what he and his brothers in the days usually did for warm-up. They have no idea what true power is. None of them do. And yet they believe they have the right to go to war because they want their village to be better than one another. More and more as he saw and witnessed humanity, it sickens him. But not all of it. You have people that help each other. Healers, doctors, people that go out of their way to help one another. Those are the people that deserve to live happily on this world, and yet they are the ones that are hunted and killed as well for just existing. Naruto sighed. He was not going to go down that road once again. It would lead him nowhere to wrap his mind around this and trying to figure out why people are this way. He just couldn't do it anymore. He shook his head as he decided to end this. He looked down towards the ground before he bent his knees. Upon doing that, the ground shattered as Naruto blasted upwards. Oniki, who was mid-flight, flew back as he held his arms out. However, Naruto disappeared and reappeared behind him. Nothing but raw speed. Oniki spun around as his hand was gripped, as Naruto pulled him forward and held his hand back. Naruto's hand started to glow with chakra. The amount was undetermined, but from the looks of it, Oniki tried to pull back as he opened his mouth and shot rock bullets towards Naruto. However, despite the short range, Naruto tilted his head, dodging each of them. It's over. Naruto thrust his palm out and slammed it in Oniki's stomach. The force caused a violent backlash to explode from Oniki's back. The ground down below shook violently, despite how high up they were, showing that the force that Naruto released was nothing normal. Oniki's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Blood burst from his nose and mouth. His eyes became blood red as several blood vessels popped. Naruto then released him as he fell from the heavens, broken and beaten and battered from just one single hit. His whole chakra was fluctuating and out of control. He had several internal bleeding. Naruto looked down, hoping that he at least survived. After all, this was a lesson that he was going to teach him. He saw as Mew shouted for the ninjas down below to catch Oniki, as he flew straight after Naruto in mid-air, as Naruto was still hovering there. Mew take Naruto on in Kenjutsu, his blades weaving and slashing. Naruto evaded his strikes, and moved back as he did. He then floated downwards as he saw the people catch Oniki and jumped away. Several medics quickly rushed into his aid, as Oniki was coughing up a lot of blood. Mew landed as Naruto did so as well. Mew came in as he slashed an attack, giving the Raikage a perfect opportunity as Naruto was paying attention to him. The Raikage came bursting out of the foliage. There was only one finger in his hand that was extended, the most powerful form of his technique. The said finger was raining forward in a blur, concentrated with enough chakra on that single point to split anything in this world. Mew then jumped away as the Raikage reached Naruto. As Naruto spun around, meeting his eyes, the Raikage eyes widened for a brief seconds before contact was made. A violent explosion followed as the ground and air was torn apart. When the smoke and dust cleared, the Raikage stood there as Naruto held his finger with his pointer and thumb, holding the Raikage's finger, somehow able to disable the technique and stop it from releasing anything upon him, and instead sending out into the world. That is what caused the explosion. The Raikage tried to pull its arm back, but Naruto's grip seemed to be unbudging. It just would not release. The Raikage was starting to get frustrated as he lashed out his other fist as Naruto grabbed it. Seeing this, the Raikage jumped forward as he tackled Naruto. He tried to knock Naruto down, but Naruto braced himself. He hooked his foot around Naruto's right leg. "Take him down now!" the Raikage shouted, tending for Mew to use his blade and slit right through the back of Naruto's neck. However, Mew was a man that only cared for his and his village survival, and he could not let someone like this, someone this powerful, someone that he has gone up against, survive, even if that means killing the Raikage as well. Both Naruto and the Raikage were trapped inside of a box. "What are you doing?" the Raikage yelled. Seeing that he believed that he had a good hold on Naruto, Mew had the perfect opportunity to slit the back of Naruto's neck. But yet Mew was going to kill them both. "This is the only way. I cannot allow this monster to survive. You shall fall with him. You bad dismantling jutsu!" Mew yelled out. However, something was wrong. As they were gone, disintegrated, the people over to the side, the Kumo ninja, stood there in shock as they saw the Raikage just be erased. Rage quickly started to set in as they started to look towards the stone ninjas with anger. Mew stood there confused. What was that, he thought to himself. The Raikage blinked, confused. One moment he was trapped, the next moment he felt a pull. It was like someone had grabbed him so fast, his organs and brain had yet to adjust. His mind just coming to the realization that he was still alive. He quickly disengaged and jumped away as he saw Naruto standing there. "How? What did you just do?" "I told you, if you chose this course of action, the only thing I needed to know if you have a successor. We do not need to talk, because you will be dead soon anyways." The Raikage frowned as lightning erupted over him once again. He tried to move, but he could not as Naruto appeared in front of him. Enough. As Naruto held his hand down, after bringing it from to the Raikage's shoulder down to his side, all the Raikage felt was instant pain as blood exploded out. It felt like a long, sharp blade had carved into his skin, tearing into his flesh. Given the Raikage physique and his durability, this was most shocking. The Raikage staggered back. He threw his fist trying to catch Naruto, but Naruto hit him in the shoulder, causing his arm to fall limply to his side. He threw his leg out, but Naruto hit him right in the side. causing his body to crumble down to the ground. He dropped to his knees. What are you?" he said, looking towards the man that was about to take his life. "The one you should have avoided," said Naruto. He thrust his hand forward and touched the Raikage's chest. The Raikage eyes widened. As he looked down, what he saw was pure chakra going through his chest and coming through his back. The chakra vaporized the blood immediately, and his heart as well. The light slowly left his eyes as he fell over dead. Naruto looked towards his arm before he looked down and grabbed the Raikage's body and threw it in the air. He then pulled back as one of the earth spears grazed him, slightly grazed him on his cheek. As Naruto jumped away, a small drop of blood dropping towards the ground. He did not look up. He simply looked towards his arm once again as he shook it. He then jumped upwards and caught the body of the Raikage as he saw Mew hovering above him. "So you can get hurt," said Mew. "A rather nasty person you are, even willing to destroy the body of your comrade. And why did you protect his body?" "He's your enemy," said Mew. "The only reason I saved him was to give him back to his people in a fine condition, with my warning. However, the rest of you would not be so lucky." As Naruto glanced up towards Mew, "Your successor is already here. I hope I did not accidentally kill him." Mew grunted at that. "What is your plan here? Do you still believe you can win? Before it was 3-on-1. Now it's 1-on-1. Do you think you can take me with the power that you possess in your body?" As Mew didn't say anything, he still frowned. "You have no idea who I am, what I am. You simple, misguided child. You are way out of your league. We're not even playing in the same continent. However, I have marked you for death, and that is what you shall receive for your actions. Your mind is corrupted. All you seek is the betterment of your land, damning anyone else. And what the hell should I seek?" said Mew. "The betterment of others. If they should fall for my village to rise, then so be it. And I will not allow you to harm my village, even if it takes everything out of me. I will take you down," said Mew. As Naruto felt his chakra building up, Naruto glanced towards his chest. Slowly but surely veins started to appear on Naruto's eyes. "You fool. You will die," said Naruto. "Yes, I will. But I will take you down as well. You will not escape this. I have already ensured that Oniki and my people are out of here already. All that remains is that buffoon and his people, which do not concern me. I will die as I live, protecting my people and taking you down in the process. This world is not ready for someone like you. You are far too strong to exist in this world." "You simple naive child. I have existed long before you, and I will so too after you're gone. Well then, by all means, let's see you survive this." Mew gathered all the chakra to his heart, a suicide technique. The chakra turned wild and chaotic. As Naruto stood there, Mew's body started to lose its color. As the power started to build up into his chest, smoke started to leave his mouth. As his hands started to tremble, the amount of power was burning out his insides. "And if anything," said Mew, struggling to talk, "I will take those blasted Uzumakis with me as well." As the place was about to blow. "Not if I have anything to say about it," said Naruto. As he moved forward, Mew blinked. Yes, that is what he did. He blinked. He was sure he just blinked when he found himself in a strange location. A desert. Mew was confused what was going on. He saw the sun shining down upon him as he was stuck in a desert. Confused, Mew didn't know what was happening. That is when he looked up. "I told you, stupid child. Your life, your sacrifice will mean nothing." That is when Mew was able to witness the glory of this man in front of him. His eyes were no longer white. Those eyes, they were remarkable. That was the last thing Mew thought. Before boom! The entire desert location went up in a massive explosion. However, whatever place this was, whatever dimension it was vast. Vast and unending. As the explosion was contained, there was a portal of sorts that opened up and vanished before the whole thing went off. Back towards the islands, Naruto picked up the body of the Raikage and disappeared in a burst of speed. Several ninjas from Kumo realized that their counterparts of the other nations were gone. They were the only ones. They froze as he appeared. All of you. He tossed the body on the ground. Leave this place now immediately. Tell the successor of this man to take his mantle and use it for something else. Something better meant for him and his village. And do not try to attack the Uzumaki again. Otherwise, he will face my wrath. Naruto then turned his back and started to walk away. Hey, you bastard! One of them said, clenching his fists. You think we're just gonna let you leave like this? I'm surprised that you have the courage to speak to me after witnessing what you just saw. But by all means, I only need one person to deliver my message. So, come. Who will be first? No one moved from where they were, too frozen, afraid. As Naruto simply looked at them. Well, if that is the case, leave. Now, he said, his voice shaking the surrounding area. They picked the body up as they started to get the hell out of there, knowing that they could not face that man. As Naruto walked, he held his hand out as Shakijo arrived in his hand. He held his other hand out as his coat arrived as he placed it on. He looked back towards his left hand. The reason why he got scratched in the cheek, that was healed up by now, but his hand felt a bit sprained. It was that earth sandwich that tried to crush him. As he shook it off, his hand feeling much better. They were strong, but compared to the likes of Hashirama and Madara, they were not that strong. And comparing themselves to him, any of them, they were not doing a fair judgment. Meanwhile, Kushina was bored. Because of her sensory ability, she knew that the people had fled. Yet here she was high in the sky on this bubble. As she was upset, thinking that he forgot about her out here. All she wanted to do was go home and make sure everyone was okay. But she was so high up in the sky she could not risk jumping down, seeing that she was above the water. There was nothing for her to hold on to. And she was really high up. She wondered if the bubble was ascending upwards. What was that idiot thinking? Was he gonna leave her up here stranded? No, I was not gonna leave you stranded up here. Kushina blinked as she turned. What? Wait. Can you read my mind? No, I just figure that is what you were thinking. I guess you're right, after all. Seeing that you left me up here, she yelled. It was for your own safety. I know that. But didn't the battle ended some time ago? Yes, I took my time walking here. I know that you're really fast, you know that, right? That means you could have raced over here rather quickly, but yet, you did not. Did you just want to piss me off, she asked. As Naruto looked at her, once again she could not understand the look on his face. Was he amused by her cursing? Did he find enjoyment out of mocking her or something? She didn't know. Would you get me down from here? He put his staff on her back and lifted her up as he lowered her down to the ground, lowering himself in the process as well. As she then realized, wait, were you flying? As her feet touched the ground, finally she said, the hard, rocky ground. So amazing than being all the way up there in mid-air. Are you afraid of heights? He asks. What? Of course not. But just don't leave me somewhere that high ever again. Well then, said Naruto, we should get going. I promised I would take you back home. Yeah, you did. As she looked out towards the open water. There's nothing for you to fear. It's all over. I promise. I know, she said. I trust you. As she held her arms up, he tilted his head. What are you doing? Well, she looked away an embarrassing blush in her face. You were carrying me across the water and I thought you would like me to carry you again, he asked her. Well, if you don't mind, she said, not looking at him. It is no problem, and besides, it will be much faster. As he picked her up, her face seemed to get more red. She couldn't believe that she asked for this. It was just a heat of the moment thing, as he started to walk on the water. Hey, so after dropping me home, you're gonna leave, aren't you? This is your home, not mine. She didn't know why, but she felt something bad in her chest when he said that. That he was gonna leave. Because that is basically what he was saying. Oh, yeah. I just want to thank you once again for what you did. You saved my home. With the amount of forces that came here. If it wasn't for you, I would have probably been at Kumo right now. As she shivered at the thoughts. Even if I had escaped, I wouldn't have a home to come back to. My mom, my sister, my father, my friends. It's all thanks to you. Thank you, Naruto, she said. You're most welcome, Kushina-san, he said to her. That made her smile. As they took their way walking there, Kushina didn't want to speak anymore, as she enjoyed the peace and quiet. She also noticed that there was no bodies around, as she wondered what happened to the bodies. She saw the broken parchment of the ships, as they were sinking all down, but the bodies were nowhere to be seen. She wondered if he had something to do with this, protecting her from, well, all the death. Maybe that is why he was so late, to bring her down. That must be it, she thought. Just who was he? He was so kind and gentle, and yet so ferocious on the battlefield. He was her hero, her savior. As Kushina ended up drifting off, her mind was so stressful for everything that once she was now released from all that stress, her body just relaxed, and with a cool rushing breeze, as she was protected, she knew that she fell asleep. Moments later, at the gates of Ozu that was still standing, Kagami Uzumaki and several of his entourage was there. As they waited, they could no longer feel that pressure. In fact, they could barely sense anything from him. But they could sense Kushina, and her chakra was calm. So calm, in fact, she seemed to be sleeping. Arriving, they all saw the hooded figure, as he was once again wearing his hood, his face not being seen by the people. As he walked up towards the gate and came to a stop, Kagami stepping forward. I believe she belongs to you, said Naruto. Kagami looked towards Kushina's smiling face. My baby girl, he thought. Despite knowing that she hated when he called her that, as he took his daughter. She was getting so big. He motioned for one of his men to come forward, and held on to his daughter, as he turned his gaze towards Naruto. What followed was Kagami, going down to one knee and bowing his head, surprising the people, but they should not be. I thank you. Greatly so. You've protected my daughter from an outcome which I know is rather terrible. Given her not arriving within the village, I fear for her safety. And then we were attacked. And you stepped foot in this village. You warned off the invaders by yourself, your power that proved to be absolutely elite, beyond anything I've ever witnessed in my long lifetime. I am truly grateful for your assistance. Naruto went down to one knee, as he patted the man on his shoulder, both of them being on eye level. There is no need for you to bow. The Uzumakis of these generations have changed. I see that you're one of the good ones. What do you mean, said Kagami. Your history is long and vast, said Naruto. I'm afraid they kept some to themselves, to save you from the past. But there's nothing for you to worry about. Your people did not deserve to be slaughtered like lamb. I only wish to help. Still, I am grateful, Kagami said. As Naruto simply waved him off. Stand and rise. You are a proud, wonderful leader, who is willing to risk everything for his people. A genuine, kind soul. People like that should be preserved. and your village should not be destroyed because of greed. However, I must be taking my leave now. This is not my home. This is yours. And I'm sure there's a lot. Wait, said Kagami. You can't just leave yet. I must thank you and repay you for your kindness. There's no need. There's nothing I seek for lending a hand. There must be something. Kagami then glanced back, and besides, Kushina, I'm sure that she will be happy to see you here before you left. I'm sure that she would feel rather awful to wake up and seeing that you're gone. My village owe you a great lot. At least allow me to repay you in some way. As I said, I'm fine. At least allow me to give you a healthy meal. A feast that is cooked by the Uzumakis. I'm sure that is something you have not had the delicacy of yet. As Naruto looked towards him, looking back over towards the young girl sleeping. Time skip. Kushina slowly woke up. As her eyes was not open yet, but she had regained consciousness. She turned, as she then realized that someone was right beside her. A sweet smile came on her face as she realized who it was. Her baby sister Kagura. As her sister was holding on to her in her sleep, she must have snuck into her bed. She always did this. Kushina's eyes widened as she jumped up, waking her sister. Her sister pulled up and rubbed her eyes. Big sis, she said. What are you doing? As Kushina jumped up, she quickly rushed towards the window and looked out. As she saw, there was a signs of battle. So it wasn't a dream. Kagura, what happened? How did I get here? Dad brought you here. What's wrong? She said, looking towards her big sister. Tell me, was there a man? A man? Yeah. Did someone come back with Dad? He had white hair. Oh, you mean Mr. Funny Eyes? Funny Eyes? Kushina said. Yeah, his eyes are white. And they don't have the same thing that we have, like a pupil. But he said that he can see me just fine. What about him? She said, tilting her head. Where is he now? He's downstairs, talking to Mom. As Kushina rushed out of the room. Big sister, wait! But Kushina did not stop as she ran down the stairs. That is when she heard talking as she slowed her descent down. Arriving, she saw the two of them, as Naruto was calmly sipping on some tea, sitting on the living room couch. In front of him was none other than Kaya Uzumaki, Kushina Uzumaki's mother, as the both of them were talking to each other. However, Kushina overheard the last part of the story that Kaya was telling Naruto. It was a story about her when she was younger, a rather embarrassing story. And she fell right in it, Kaya said. That is when both Kaya and Naruto started to chuckle, finding what she just said rather amusing. Kushina's face turned beet red, as she felt like she wanted to die. She seriously wanted to die. How could her mother tell Naruto that? Her mother was always finding some way to embarrass her. Even now, especially at this age. Kushina being one of the most populous girls within the village, her being the daughter of the clan head not to mention, because of her attitude and the way she carried herself, there was many boys her age that liked her. Kushina had been on one date. It was more like a hangout, with someone that she knew for a very long time, and let's just say her mother embarrassed her all the way to hell and brought her back with nothing but pure embarrassment. She and the guy did not went on a second date, not because of her mother of course. It's just that Kushina did not feel what she was looking for. The thing was, she grew up hearing about her parents' story. Her mother and father were, well, they were not supposed to be together. Her father, coming from the line of the head of the clan, he was supposed to marry someone else. However, his heart was set for his soulmate. And his soulmate was her mother, Kaya. When the first time they met, Dad made an absolute fool of himself. He had dropped into a pond of water by accident and tripping over himself. However, her mother had simply smiled and helped him out, finding it hilarious, but to keep his embarrassment she did not laugh. He became infatuated with her from there on. There was just something between them. She also had it as well. They went through a lot of trials and a lot of heartache. because of the status between the both of them. However, it seems like love was aimed to triumph over all. Love was able to push past the boundaries of everything else and reign supreme. Her mother and father went through a lot, but they end up together in the end, and they've loved each other ever since. So that is what she was looking for, that spark. As she had read several books, she had got it into her head that once you saw someone that you should truly be with, you will find the spark the moment you met them. Given the era that they live in, many people were able to find people that they want to be with from a very young age. Given that she was 14 years old now, and she's only ever been on one date, she'd never even had her first kiss. It was just, maybe she was wrong though as she thought about it. Maybe there was no such thing as a love at first sight spark. Maybe her mother and father, and the few other people that had it was just a rare case. Maybe she was not going to be one of those people. Yet, her ears were connected to his laughter as she glanced up, seeing Naruto laughing as he slowly died down with his laughter. He glanced up towards her. As she looked at his white eyes, as he smiled towards her, she immediately blushed in embarrassment remembering the story that her mother told. As she felt her heart racing, much faster than it should, she calmly walked down with her head dejected. "Oh, hi, sweetie," her mother said to her in the most friendliest tone. "Did you have a good nap?" Kushina blushed even more. "Yes, I slept fine." "What is going on here?" she said. "Oh, I just wish to speak to the hero that saved us today." "Come on now," said Naruto. "I told you there's no need for that." "You are quite the modest person, aren't you?" said Kaya. "Despite everything, you refuse to take any much acknowledgement than the simple thanks. People like you are rather rare." A solemn look came on his face, a look that neither of them could describe. "Hey, White Eyes!" a voice called out. "Kagura," Kaya said. "What have I told you about addressing him as such?" "Oh, it's quite okay," said Naruto, cutting her off. "After all, my eyes are white, aren't they?" As Kagura laughed at that, "Yeah, pretty much," she said. "See, Mom, he doesn't seem to mind." "Well, as long as you don't mind," said Kaya looking towards Naruto. "It's perfectly fine," said Naruto. Kaya knew that some people had some features about themselves, not that Naruto's eyes looking away. However, she could tell that it was a variation of the Byakugan, but it seemed to be older, much more powerful. Despite not seeing it in action herself, she could tell there was just something about it. Something about this man that was just oozing with power even when he was not releasing it. Upon hearing her husband's story of what happened, she was shocked. Inviting this man into her home. He was so kind. Despite someone possessing such power, he's so sweet, kind, gentle, and so friendly. "Hey, White Eyes, I brought you this." As Naruto looked down to see candy, the small child was handing him candy. As he took it from her, holding it up, "No," she said, as she saw that her mother saw it. "What's that?" As she looked at her mother nervously. It's just..." "Wait, did she give that to you?" Kushina said in shock. Naruto looked towards her, confused. Even the mother seemed surprised. "What's wrong?" "Well, my daughter here has quite the sweet tooth. The sweetest in our family, to be exact. Like, it's hard to separate her from candy. So that is why I forbade her from eating so much of it. And she's not supposed to have any. So there's another secret stash, isn't there?" As the girl looked away, not facing her mother's gaze. "Nope," she said really fast. "Now come on now. You know not to lie to your dear old mother. Where is the candies?" She looked around, as she was not facing her mother's gaze. She shouted, "It was Father! Father gave it to me!" as the door opened at that moment. Stepping inside was none other than Kagami. Kagami looked towards his youngest, hearing her say something, when he noticed the candy in Naruto's hand. "Dear, did you give our daughter more candy?" He swallowed thickly, hearing the word coming from his wife. He looked towards his youngest, that gave him an apologetic look before she ran away, as she had to go move her stash just in case. "Sorry about that, dear," he said. "It's just, she asked me with those puppy dog eyes and I can't resist." You are too soft on her, I told you, that she's not supposed to have any more candy. Stop spoiling her, she said, as he rubbed the back of his head, as Naruto found the scene rather warm and nice. Seeing all the family react, as Kushina noticed a smile on his face. She smiled back as he was happy. She felt happy as well. Ah, Kushina, he said that seeing that she was awake. I'm sure that you want to catch up with your new friend here. As Kushina looked away, a tint on her cheeks. But I would like to speak to Naruto-san, if that is okay. Of course, said Naruto. Would you excuse me, ladies? As Naruto got up and followed the man. Once he was gone, Kaya looked towards her daughter. As Kushina narrowed her eyes towards her mother, who was just staring at her. Mom, why are you staring at me? I'd have no idea where Kagura hide her candy stash, if that is what you want to know. No, nothing about that. Kaya found it some time ago though, the candy stash. Kagura had begged her to not take them away, and she failed against those cute puppy dog eyes. So she told her to never tell her father that she found her like this, with the candies. She did take some of them away though, as too much was not good for her, but she also failed to take all of them away because her daughter was so adorable. Yes, she played the both of them, and seeing that Kaya decided to take the high ground, while being the better person in this, which was a bit cheeky on her part, she told her daughter to forget about this, and she did that well, and blamed the things on her father. That is why she would let her husband off really easy this time. That little girl was just so adorable. So what's with the look then, Mom? Asked Kushina. Your new friend. He's done a lot for us. He told me what happened, as she was pulled into a tight hug. She felt her mother trembling. I was so worried when you didn't come back. When we got message from Konoha that you had not reached yet. I was so afraid. I was so worried about you. I couldn't bear the thought of anything happening to you. It's alright, Mom, I'm fine, she said, as she held her mother. Her mother pulled back, tears in her eyes. Come on, Mom, don't cry, she said. It's tears of joy, honey. I'm just glad that you're alright. As she smiled at her mother. He's a true hero, a savior. He not only saved you, he brought the Uzumakis out of peril and destruction. Mom, do you have any idea who he is? She looked towards her daughter. Do you? Well, the stories, not to mention his features. The one that they say has the power to rearrange nations. It's him, isn't it? The wandering ghosts. Meanwhile, in the studies. The study was a large room with a massive desk. There were several papers packed neatly on the side. The man looked tired. Granted, he had to get a lot in order. Not to mention, he had plotted a big feast for his people to calm down after this triest moment. For them to relish in happiness after their tremendous, almost loss to the enemy. And their main source of this feast was going to be Naruto here. For the Uzumaki family to thank him. Thank him for everything that he has done for them. As Naruto looked around at the books and the scrolls. As Naruto's eyes picked out one in particular. Kagami saw what he was looking at. Quite the eye you got there, he said. As it was a book about history, the past. Way in the past. As he sat down, meeting Naruto's gaze. You have helped and saved my people. I know that I am not in any position to even question you. You have shown nothing but good intention so far. However, one can't help to be curious, he said, looking towards Naruto. Your description fit the description of someone that has been told a lot about in the past. Oh, and who is that? Said Naruto. They said that he's a god amongst men. A man that walked between the steps of humanity and divinity. They say that his powers are like Kami, bringing on wrath of the heavens to shake the very land that we live. And today, I was able to witness a portion of that power. I was able to feel that power. At first, my mind had a highly way of declining that anything like that was real. The battle between the first and Mother Uchiha. The try-kidnapping of the tail beasts, the 8 tails to be exact, from the Kumo ninjas. I believe that person is you. Am I mistaken? It is hard to lie when the descriptions are bare in front of you, said Naruto. Kagami smiled as he leaned back in his chair, satisfied with that answer. I must ask though, for one to possess powers yours, and to be off the grid for so long, why? Show up now. Well, for one thing, I would not stand by and allow anything to happen to a young innocent girl. And for that I am grateful, Kagami said. But the world has seen your face. People now know fully about you, and you let some of them live. Yes, I did. A warning not to come after the Uzumakis. As I said to you before, your people has proven to be kind and gentle. Stay out of conflicts that does not concern them. Proven to, rather, stay away from hate, destruction, and live for love and family. That is something I can greatly respect. That is why I did not see any problem in revealing myself to save your people. Still, a lot have been asked of you, the lives you've taken, for the sake of my clan. As Naruto looked towards him, you hear rumors, you see descriptions. However, you do not know who I am, so do not worry your head. However, I must ask. The village hidden within a leaf, did they set your daughter up to be kidnapped? Kagami narrowed his gaze, as there was a sad look on his face. So you realize it as well, huh? There's no doubt. You're a very intelligent man. After Kushina told you, you put it together. As Naruto nodded his head. Yes. We live in trying times. Because of the war and conflicts, Konoha wants to pull their strength. Pulling my clan in the process. However, you refuse, said Naruto. You still want to be independent because, unlike the other clans of Konoha, you do not have to rely on them so much. The world is a big, wide place that is in need of the Uzumaki seals, something that can support your clan. And Konoha knows this, so they want a percentage, a beneficial hand in your clan. Despite all that you have given them, if I'm not wrong. Yes, although it is not so cut and dry, but still. To sacrifice my daughter. He clenched his fist in rage. Calm yourself, said Naruto. Getting angry now would not change anything. Humanity. The greed of mankind would not change just because of your anger. Kagami lowered his head. I guess you're right, he said, as he looked towards Naruto. However, I have been wondering for a long time now, trying to stay out of human affairs, despite several people asking me to enter into their affairs. And today, I have raised my hands against enemies that dare to strike the Uzumaki clan. However, there are many more, small, fragile clans that cannot protect themselves. People that cannot live in safety because of the war going on. As he whispered, I think I've been gone long enough. Kagami was not sure he was supposed to hear that, as he seemed to be talking to himself. That is when the both of them picked up an aroma. Kagami smiled. We shall continue our talk later. It's been some time, you must be starving, he said. Let me introduce you to a feast of the Uzumakis. By all means, lead the way, said Naruto, as Kagami chuckled as he came back down. Arriving, as they saw Kushina, she was beet red, as she was glaring at her mother who was laughing. And what's going on here, said Kagami. Oh, nothing, dear. It seems like the aroma is traveling throughout the village. Well, I was just about to bring our new friend and introduce him to a Uzumaki feast. As Kushina got up and walked over. Come on, Naruto, she said. You're gonna love this. I know that you must eaten on several occasions before, but trust me, you never had a Uzumaki feast before. A yell of happiness could be heard as they saw the small child came tumbling down the stairs. Big sis is right, White Eyes, she said. Our food is awesome. You can eat the candy I gave you later. Right now. Let's fill your tummy, she said, with a bright smile. As Naruto looked towards her, Kaya noticed something in his eyes. The way he looked towards her youngest. As there was a lot of sadness in his eyes as well. Unhappiness, regret, and something else she could not understand. This man was carrying a lot on his shoulders. But maybe they could do something about that. But guys, be and subscribe right here for things person do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and your social media platform. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.